After 14 days of intense proceedings here at Courthouse 320, I can say, and I think my co-accused can share that sentiment, that we've had phenomenal defense. Not everything has gone the way we would have expected it to, but that is the nature of this beast. And it goes without saying, but I really want to focus on the fact that we wouldn't have been able to put up this defense without the help of the Democracy Fund.
The trial of the Coutts Three, Marco Van Hugenbos, Alex Van Herk, and George Jansen, is nearing its end. I'm Robert Kraychik here in Lethbridge, Alberta, reporting for Rebel News on April 15th, 2024. Today's proceedings were dedicated to this dispute, this discussion between the Crown and the defense teams over what language specifically should be included in the judge's instructions for the jury. The jury wasn't in the courtroom today, and the two parties provided their remarks, their ideas, their recommendations to the judge, Justice Keith Yamauchi, over how he should phrase, how he should compose his instructions for the jury. And when they come in tomorrow, they'll be issued those instructions before they're then retired to deliberate and determine their verdict. The three defendants are accused of having committed mischief over $5,000 for their roles, their participation in the 2022 Coutts protest border blockade. This protest took place at the same time as the Freedom Convoy, and the two protests were broadly opposed to these governmentally imposed edicts and orders and mandates ostensibly serving the interest of public health to reduce transmission of COVID-19. Specifically in Coutts, traffic at this border crossing between Coutts and Sweetgrass at the border of Alberta and Montana was obstructed, and the government is alleging that this obstruction itself constituted mischief, and the valuation, this $5,000 plus, is said to be a calculation of the economic harm caused by this protest. The specifics of the dialogue, the dispute, the discussion between the prosecution and defense teams today is subject to a publication ban. I can't discuss what took place because the jurors were not present to hear it. Those of you that have been following our reports probably understand that when the jury is not present, or even before the jury is selected, proceedings are almost always subject to a publication ban. And the rationale is to prevent potential jurors or sitting jurors from being exposed to information that they're not meant to hear. So let's examine, for example, pretrial proceedings where the Crown and defense teams were deliberating and discussing and disputing the admissibility of particular types of evidence. So evidence may be inaccurate, evidence may be unlawfully obtained, evidence may just otherwise be ineligible for some other condition. And if that evidence is to be disclosed in the form of a news media report such as this one, it could enter the minds of people that would be selected to become jurors and perhaps corrupt or predetermine some of their attitudes. The same applies now with sitting jurors. Information that's discussed outside of their presence is discussed outside of their presence for a reason, and we cannot discuss it here because they might end up seeing it.
After 14 days of intense proceedings here at Courthouse 320, I can say, and I think my co-accused can share that sentiment, that we've had phenomenal defense. Not everything has gone the way we would have expected it to, but that is the nature of this beast. And it goes without saying, but I really want to focus on the fact that we wouldn't have been able to put up this defense without the help of the Democracy Fund, the lawyers for the Democracy Fund, our counsel, our respective counsels, Ryan Duran, Michael Johnson, Alan, and Matt from the Democracy Fund. We especially want to thank Rebel, the Democracy Fund. And if you haven't already done this, please take a look. Check out Coutts3.com. Contribute to the success of these proceedings, and please contribute to our defense as we move toward a acquittal, which we all hope for. Thank you.
We're running two fundraising campaigns in relation to this trial. The first is to help the defendants pay their legal costs. You can donate at Coutts3.com, and if you do, you'll be issued a charitable receipt against your donation, because this fundraiser is being administered by a nonprofit organization that we work with, the Democracy Fund, an outfit committed to defending your Canadian constitutional rights and freedoms. Number two, we're running a fundraising campaign to cover our journalistic operational costs at Rebel News. Primarily, that revolves around getting me to Lethbridge from Ottawa, airfare, accommodation, car rental, and other sorts of associated costs. If you think that this journalism is valuable, if you care about our independent reporting, please help us continue producing it. And you can visit truckertrials.com and do so.